Welcome to Inside Sim Racing episode 42. I'm your host Jessica Lopez. Got some very sad news. This is going to be our very last episode for this set, which we will miss very much. We've been here for about a year and we're moving locations. As far as this episode, today we're going to be taking a look at Simbin's first new free title, Volvo the Game, as well as Darren's racing rigs for under $1,000. We got part 3 of that. He's going to be taking a look at the Playseat Evolution and Bob Earl's virtual racing chassis. And Shaun's going to bring you his wonderful segment of tech tips. Today he's going to be looking at field of view, or FOV as some of you may know it. And we also have our top stories, which Darren will join me on. All of this brought to you by Alright guys, I'm back here with Darren. He's here to join me for the top stories as usual.
Our last time on this set too.
It is. It's going to be missed. We had some good times here.
No doubt. That's going to be a bummer.
Especially when I put the cupcake in your face. I'll never forget that.
It's all, I don't want to, I mean, I want to forget it, but no, that was fun. We had a good time.
Memories.
Yeah, no doubt.
We're going to bring you a bigger and better set, and hopefully I'll be able to add my touch to it.
Definitely could use a female's touch.
And on to the mod squad. Looks like Bob's Track Builder has gone Evo.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, all the Simbin titles are now available to be tweaked with Bob's Track Builder.
Yep, you can, what is it, Race 07, GTR Evolution, GT
R2,
and GT Legends.
Exactly. If you're not familiar with Bob's Track Builder, it was a great tool that's been available for our factor, and you can build tracks with it. So.
Yep, you can go on over to bobstrackbuilder.net for more information on that. And that's pretty much gonna...
We'll tell them, Brendan that we sent you.
If you decide to go to bobstrackbuilder.net, please tell Brendan that we sent you.
Yep. So that's gonna do it, isn't it, for top stories?
Yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for the top stories. Next up, we're gonna take you to Simbin's title, or free title,
Volvo
for the Volvo.
The Game.
Yep. How did you like that?
It's pretty cool, man. Lots of 5 different Volvos to run on 2 different tracks. So
let's take a look.
All right.
Volvo the Game is the first free title from Simbin, but in reality it falls more in a category of demo or marketing tool for Volvo. Which is cool because it features the S60 concept, but also has some rare old school Volvos as well. The cars included are the S60 concept street and race versions, the C30 that is currently competing in the STCC, the S40, the 850 station wagon that became a legend in the BTCC, the standard S60 race version, as well as the 240 Turbo Group A. There's 2 tracks included. First up, the 1-mile Gothenburg Eco Drive Arena. It's a street course in Sweden and it's really tough. And also a purpose-built course called Chaika outside of Kiev in the Ukraine. It's 2.6 miles in length and is featured for the first time in a sim racing title. Hopefully Simbin will include it in Race On as well. The game offers a choice of skill levels: novice with all the driver aids on like ABS and traction control, semi-pro, and finally pro where all the aids are turned off. You can race up to 10 laps, and some of these aids are adjustable. You can turn off auto clutch and adjust the AI difficulty up to 120%. It's possible to select any of the above mentioned Volvos and compete against your best times or have the track all to yourself. Or you can compete against up to 11 AI cars, which at Chaika, the S60 cars seem to have a problem in one of the last turns. Other than that, the AI seem to run fine and battle pretty good at both tracks when at 100%. It also seems that there's going to be some competitions going on, but those have yet to start. There's a few bugs, for instance a force feedback wobble at random times until you cross over a rumple strip and then it goes away. There's that AI problem at Chaika. I also experienced random crashes while running it. You can set up all your controls like you normally do in a Simbin title, but I wanted to run my SST Lightning shifter and I had to settle for the paddle shifter. There wasn't the ability to map individual gears. One of the other things missing was damage, and I'm assuming that's because Volvo didn't want their cars to be beat up in this game. Other than that, the cars are fun to drive, physics seem pretty realistic, and the tracks are also a blast. If you're interested in trying a PC racing sim, this, along with some of the demos that SimBin has, will give you a taste of what it's like. You just need a decent PC and a racing wheel, and you're ready to run. I definitely recommend checking it out since it's free. Head on over to volvocars.com/game to download your copy today.
Make sure to download your copy of SimBin's free title, which became available on May 26th, and you can go to simbin.com for more information on that. Next up, we have our segment on sim rigs for under $1,000. We're going to be taking a look at two different sim rigs, the Playseat Evolution and Bob Earl's Virtual Racing Chassis. Let's see what the guys thought.
All right, back again. Part 3 now.
Yeah, this is becoming a favorite segment of everybody's.
Yeah, I love doing it too. So sim rigs under $1,000, except for the fact that we got these sim rigs all over the place now.
They are starting to pile up.
Anybody want a sim rig out there? Anyway, sim rigs for under $1,000. And here we have the Playseat Evolution. And we're not going to do a DIY segment this time. I'm going to save that for next time because we got 2 rigs this time.
Dose.
We got the Playseat Evolution, and we also have the Bob Earl Virtual Racing Chassis.
Bring that one out here in a little while.
Yep, so we're going to do both those separate here. And first, I'd like to thank Lauren at Playseat USA for sending us this. And here's this beauty.
Silver and black.
Yeah.
Very shiny, you can see.
Yeah, we actually like it. It's a cool rig. So anyway, this one goes for $300 here in the US. I think it's about €300 overseas. And this, we also have the attachable or the separate G25 Shifter Mount, and that goes for $40.
Moves both in and out and in.
Yep, and also we don't have it, but you can get some seat rails. That's an extra $40. And so we got an assembly video, but you're in it this time.
I put this one together.
So let's just roll that.
There you go. So, that for a little seat like this, it took a little while, a lot of little pieces.
Yeah, definitely. It took. So I expected a little less assembly, but I mean, no big deal. We were talking about this earlier. I just built a new PC, and you know what? You're a racer, man. I want to build my rig.
Absolutely.
I want to build what I'm racing in.
Yeah,
and I had
it's our
fun
race
doing
car.
It is, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
And I did forget the shifter mount, so a lot of that time was kind of going backward. I had to undo some things. If I had known that I had the shifter mount in advance, I would have planned accordingly, and it would have gone in right in the normal sequence, and I wouldn't have gone back.
So if you purchase a Playseat with the shifter mount, make sure you mount this before you put this whole thing together.
Yeah,
You're going to
seat
do what
rails
Shaun did.
too. We didn't have them, but I'm sure they go between the seat and this. Probably.
I would imagine they do. Okay, so assembly wasn't too bad. It took about an hour, I think it was.
Yeah.
Didn't look like that in the video, obviously, so we did
No,
our
set
speed
it
up
up.
thing. Yeah, but it took about an hour. And a little bit about this rig. I believe it's like a steel. I don't think this is aluminum.
No, it's steel, but
like
it's painted to look aluminum, especially the holes drilled out. Looks kind of aircraftish.
Yeah, let's talk about the paint really quick. This is really not a high density or quality paint.
No, it's flashy. Looks great.
Yeah, but we've got some gouges already here in this middle tube.
Actually, I think I can show you how it's kind of spotting the rail right there. See a little reflection, but
Yeah, let's give them a little close up. Yeah, there you go. See that? You see that right there? Anyway, it marks a little bit, but I mean, you know what? If you're just putting it in one position, it's not going to be a big deal. If you're, got friends coming in and out of it, you're going to mark this thing up. So that's, I mean, no big deal, but we'll talk about the pros and cons later. Hey, what is this, Shaun?
That's a knob. An adjustment
Sim racing
knob.
term.
Sim knob.
Comes with knobs for adjustability here. You guys saw the Obato piece. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, lots of adjustability on this rig. This moves back and forth. The whole pedal deck moves in and out of the main sleeve here. Like Shaun mentioned, this has some adjustability. Ours doesn't have seat adjustability.
Right.
The decks come pre-drilled for G25, so
That's nice.
You can mount a G25 here. I believe this is also for a Microsoft Xbox 360 wheel, which we didn't try.
Right.
The pedal deck.
So we have the attachment for the 360 wheel.
Right.
So it comes.
But I think 2 of these holes
The drills,
are for that. Also, the pedal deck's drilled for the G25 pedals, and this is also drilled for the G25 shifter. So when all mounted, it's solid, man.
And that's the way to do it. So I mean, that's my preferred mounting technique.
We always mention that. Fanatic was a little tough to get mounted in here. The deck is a little narrow for the Club Sport pedals. People were asking about that. So I would recommend, if you have this already and you got the GT3 RS and the Club Sports, to just mount a piece of plywood here. Paint it black, mount it to this, and then mount your pedals to that. And the same thing, you know what? If you're going to mount your wheel to this, the Fanatic clamp is the worst clamp on the market. No offense, Thomas, your clamp sucks, buddy. But all the Fanatic wheels come with the hard mount spots, which we recommend.
And the template, put it down, drill the holes, bam.
But if you're going to do it, don't mount it too close to this, because it's got this taper here, and you're not going to be able to get where the mount holes are on the 911 wheel sticks out too far, so you just have to mount it a little bit back, but you can do it.
Well, and you don't need the slip when you're hard mounting it. It's, you just need it well placed in this plate.
Yeah, but that's about it as far as
the design, overall design. It does have the little heel holder, so when you put your pedals in, there is a little rest. I mean, it's not always going to be right for all pedals in terms of the height, but it is there. So.
Yep. And I mean, that's the basics of the rig. Again, $300. And let's talk about the pros and cons.
All right.
One of the things we didn't mention yet is this thing is really compactable.
So much rig, and yet it came in an amazingly small
box. Yeah, this is the smallest box that any of them have come in. Good adjustability, and the seating position is good. Yeah. Actually, as you see in our video here, we had it right up to a table, and our eye position was perfect. We talk about field of view.
Yep.
And our eye position was perfect with this mounted right up to a table. Probably worked same with a desk. Doesn't have a monitor stand. We'll talk about that in cons.
And it worked well with your widescreen, so when you rolled it right up to that, it worked out well.
And that was one of the other pros. Pulls up nicely to a desk and standard table heights. Great for console racing. I'd say this is probably one of the top console racing rigs on the market. Nice shifter position. I liked it. You can, easily adjustable. And tilting adjustable wheel deck. We like that for the pros.
Yeah. Well, no, it goes to the whole adjustability. So, I mean, again, you have the in-out, a little bit of up and down, and that angle. Be really nice if it was straightforward, just straight up and down and in and out. So there's a little bit of give. So, I mean, I didn't get my perfect position, but darn close.
Yep, me too. Yeah, I had a great seating position. My first night in my new PC, I was running on this thing, and it was really nice. Okay, let's go to the cons now. A little bit of wobble, not bad though. I was expecting a little bit more, but not bad considering the way that this thing is put together. A lot of it happens down in here. If you don't have, you gotta hard mount these pedals, and it comes with hardware. Actually, one of the pros, back to the pros, comes with Velcro, nylon, tie straps.
Yeah. So whether you're bolting
ties,
all sorts of alternatives for mounting the pedals.
Yeah, and they give you alternatives. Comes with a little instruction manual as far as your assembly goes, and just one page of instructions, but it's really basic.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the cons. A little bit of wobble, especially if you don't have the pedals mounted. Forget it. You got to mount them. This bar impedes your feet.
Yeah.
From getting some really good break, especially for Shaun. Shaun's a little bit height challenged.
I'm on the short side, and I got to tell you, by the time I got this where I wanted, I had my left leg up on this bar. Kind of reminded me of karting. I mean, that's where my gas tank would be. But, for long race, endurance racing, it's going to get a little annoying. I'm sure I get used to it and probably adjust my position a little bit. But anyway, I'd like that not in my way.
Paint finish gouges or scratches easily.
Yeah,
we
we
mentioned
showed
that
them.
already.
That, and it gets maybe even worse so, more so here.
Right, that's where your main adjustments are happening. Seat is not adjustable.
Right.
You can't move it back or
The
forward.
recline action.
Exactly, so that's a bummer. It does compact, like we mentioned, though, which is cool. That's the
But it
only,
is comfortable.
only one that does compact. Yeah, it is a
Yeah.
comfortable seat, no doubt. Also comes with this insert, which, I mean, this is probably part of the reason why it wasn't compacting, maybe. I don't
Yeah, yeah.
know. But that's the seat insert, but you don't even know it's there. I mean, it seems like a normal seat. No keyboard or mouse tray is also kind of a bummer. So like we said, great for console racing. PC racing, you're going to be challenged by not having a keyboard tray. You know, we're talking about the
Yeah.
Obutto and the TSW Z-frame. TSW Z-frame more expensive, way more solid. Keyboard tray with the the option.
Yeah.
Obutto keyboard tray, same price. So great rig though. I mean, I definitely that was it for as far as pros and cons. I'm going to give it a thumbs up.
I'm going to give it a thumbs up also.
it's a
Again,
great
it got
rig.
really close to where I wanted. I mean, we left out that little more adjustability with the up and down versus in and out instead of kind of going in one piece. But other than that, I mean, total thumbs up. I thought it was a great looking chair, very comfortable.
Yeah, and as far as the keyboard stand, like we were talking about, you could make yourself a little tray right next to it, so that's not a huge deal. But yeah, I think it's a great, right around $300, and we're talking about under $1,000. This is way under $1,000. I know there
Yeah.
is a monitor stand that I think. What'd you find it for? $100?
It was a little price in that, like
Hard to find too. That
170
monitor
euro.
stand. Yeah, that was not hard or easy to find. In US, I didn't find it at all, but I think it mounts here. But tell you what, that thing will be wobbling like crazy. But that's it. We can buy these right from our Sim store. If you're interested in getting one, make sure you do get it from us, from our Sim store. I saw them in there for $299, and the accessories we have them listed right there, like we mentioned. So that's the Playseat Evolution. Next up, Bob Earl Virtual
Little
Racing
time
Chassis,
lapse.
and a quick commercial. We'll be right back.
Three wide on the inside, clear outside. You're doing great, keep it up. White flag, one more lap. Go low, go low. You're going on the wall.
Well, like we said, no DIY rig today because we got another purchasable rig, and this is the Bob Earl Virtual Racing Chassis.
Little tongue twister there for you, huh,
It is
Shaun?
a lot of B's and V's.
The VRC.
The VRC, that's easier.
Yeah. What is this?
That's a knob. Speaking of easier, easy adjustment using the knob.
Yep, got easy adjustment. They're called soft knobs here.
So, right off the bat, I mean, you're going to notice this is a much lower profile design.
Very compact. Let's start a little bit about the cost.
There you
How
go.
about we go there?
All right.
$299 plus shipping. This G25 Shifter Mount is $45. Actually, I've been wanting to show you guys. It's kind of mounted hard here. Maybe we need to do a little cut and I'll show you a close-up. But Shaun, maybe get an Allen wrench while I'm talking here. You got it, cool. This is my custom Fanatic shifter mount here that I've made. But anyway, we got the Fanatic shifter
Gotta
hooked
need
up
the
to it
wraps,
here.
too.
And this goes for $45, like we mentioned. We also have the optional heel riser that's $20. It's basically like a little pillow with a little cover on it. And that goes there, right there to lift your heel up to, don't worry about it, dude. We can, I got an idea. Everybody was asking about my mount here on my Fanatic shifter. Basically, I just took 2 wood screws, drilled into this extra plastic section here with this little L bracket. Voila! Thing shifts like a champ.
And you try that on mini rigs now, it's still hanging in there great.
Yeah, I got a sequential done like this and it works great.
I'm sure it doesn't do much for your warranty.
Yeah. You know what? I bet Thomas would be cool with that because it's not going into the electronics.
Right.
I can't speak for Fanatic, but I would imagine that's not going to affect your warranty as long as you don't drill too far into it. I mean, if you drilled into it and then you screwed it up, anyway, we're getting off track here. Bob Earl chassis. So back to the Bob Earl chassis. What we have here goes for $365, not including shipping, and it's made of steel. And this has a much nicer powder coat, hard powder coat finish, so it's less of a chance for it to scratch.
Yeah. And it looks real nice and shiny, and it's easy to wipe off. That's a nice thing about quality finish there.
Yeah, yeah. On this deck, it's got a little foam padding here, almost like a mouse pad, but not really.
And that's kind of a trick I've been doing on my own, putting a mouse pad under my wheels when I mount them and keep them from slipping and give them a little cushioning. But
Yeah, that is a good idea. Steering plate is, I have the specs here because Bob had them up on his site. 9 3/4 inches wide, 6 inches long at the point, and 3/16 inch thick with a hard foam pad like we mentioned for wheel stability. By the way, you can go to bobearlracing.com to check this rig out, and that's where you can purchase it from.
And that one's also mounted, drilled for the G25 as well, right?
I believe so. Yeah, there are holes underneath here that I believe would be for the G25. We didn't try it, but we'd have to go through the foam. Came with Velcro, extra Velcro, and little Velcro straps to tie all your wires down, which was really cool.
Yeah, it had both the double stick for your pedals, and it also had the strappy kind for like doing all the wiring.
Bob sent us some of his business cards, which, by the way, Bob is an ex-driver. I don't know if you guys can see that. It says race development driver. Bob used to drive an old Nissan GTP back in the 80s.
Cars.
I wouldn't be surprised if I was actually at a race and saw a car that he was driving, and I remember his name from back in those days. So.
Row 3 will be Chip Robinson and Bob Earl. Chip, the 1987 Camel GT champion. Earl will start the Nissan. Next to them will be Raul Boesel, a former world champion.
Designed by a real race car driver. And what did Bob say?
Yeah, it's like a real IMSA car. Your butt is on the ground.
Yep, just like in a real IMSA car. And the seating position, I'd say out of all of them that we've driven, is probably the most realistic as far as seating position in a race car.
Sure, and if you think, a lot of people have seen that my old Mazda Sim Pod, which I don't use anymore, unfortunately, but it was a real racy, race car, and this is very similar to the position with your legs way out in front of you and that wheel right up in your face.
Yep. Comes with like a fiberglass shell seat that I thought was going to be,
Well, looking at it, there's not a lot going on here.
Yeah, and I thought this thing is going to be so uncomfortable. You know what? He's got some good padding in this thing. I'd say, man, there's probably a good 2-3 inches of padding in this thing at least.
I actually thought it had some kind of air bladder or something.
Yeah, he's going to say, what is it, an air bladder in that thing? But yeah, it's a really, I wish it was higher back so it went up to your head, but other than that, it's got a comfortable seat. So
it comes with full color instructions with pictures all the way along the way. And
speaking of which, we didn't even, my assembly video.
Why don't we do it right now?
Let's roll it. Man, I am beat after that. After that assembly, man.
I don't really need these too much, huh?
No, I don't think we really needed the instructions, but this thing came packed in the box like you see there. No assembly required. So this was actually the easiest to assemble out of all the rigs that we got.
Just get into your little leg press and set that dimension.
Yeah, the most compact, like we mentioned. This thing just, let's slide it down into the real small position.
All right, actually, this is pretty funny. You want me to lean it up a little bit? No.
Oh, wait, hold on. The shifter's in the way there. Oh, hold on. Maybe I got it too tight here. Yeah, we got a little.
The knob. You got to
loosen the knob. Loose some. Oh, by the way, it's got Nylotron sleeves in here. So for easy movement. See how that thing they move nicely?
And it won't scratch up the metal.
But if you have like a really short, like if, someone Shaun's height. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that short. But you know what? This, you can fit a little kid in this thing.
Yeah, it is absolutely adjustable. Probably the most adjustable we've seen.
It is. It's, I think, 8-year-old.
Yeah.
8-year-old child can fit in this, they're saying. You're not going to be able to get to the brake here. But I'm sure there's a way you could move it back a little bit. But yeah, it really is compactable. Mm-hmm. So let's go pros and cons and get this, move on to the next segment here.
All right.
Pros, like we mentioned, race seating position. Created by a pro. Bob Earl was a look him up on the go to his website, and you can see his resume there. It's really cool. Love the seating position.
Yeah, and a comfortable seat.
Durable. This thing seems like it's definitely built strong.
Absolutely.
Compact. Seats more comfortable than than it looks, like we had mentioned.
Yeah.
Shifter mount position is nice and adjustable. You can slide it back and forth, up and down. And it's a great console racer. I think, like I mentioned, this is like the console racing
again,
rig special.
No keyboard holder, no mouse holder, no monitor stand.
Let's go to cons.
Yeah.
Might as well. That's
okay.
You just mentioned some of the cons right there. So no keyboard stand, no monitor stand. Actually, he sells separate monitors. This is actually the best designed monitor stand we've seen so far for an affordable rig. For about $100, I think he's selling it for, and I may be wrong, and they're out of stock, or he would have sent us one, I think. It's separate. It goes, so it kind of goes over the rig.
So regardless of how much wiggle it is, the monitor is going to stay there. Also means you can pull the rig part out and leave the monitor. So if you spend a lot of money for a big expensive TV monitor and you're pulling your rig out, the monitor can stay behind and therefore still watch movies or whatever else.
So yeah, the other cons, I'd say this is too soft. This riser is definitely too soft. My foot was sinking into it.
Yeah, I like the idea, a little padding for the heel, but
a wood riser would have been a lot better.
Yeah, a little padding.
Needs to be a little more comfortable. This thing's sitting on the ground. I mean, we're getting old, man. We rolling into this thing.
And it is on the ground. In fact, we saw one picture of some testimonials, I guess you'd say, at Bob Earl's website, and one guy had actually put it up on a platform. If I got this rig, I would definitely put it on a platform just because I don't like getting down on the ground with the dust bunnies and everything.
I don't either. Last con and the biggest one, wobble.
It looked real sturdy, and I mean it is in terms of the pedal to the seat, but
not much adjustability. You couldn't adjust the deck this way. All you got is this coming out this way. So, I'd say if he shaved a few bucks off the price tag, this would probably be a great rig. I'd say it's a little, considering that the other ones that we looked at are about the same price. I'd say this is at the bottom end of that.
Yeah, and you're going to get some others that are a little more bang for the buck. I mean, this is very solid design, but we haven't seen a lot of the console type that are race car style. So for those looking for that, it's this is a good one. Other than that, though, I mean, there's more bang for the buck out there for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. So I'm going to give it a cross thumb, medium thumb. Not a thumbs down because I could definitely race in this.
Yeah.
It's a good rig, but I think he needs to go back to the drawing board a little bit, raise it up a little bit, raise the seat back a little bit, make this a little more adjustable, and this is a solid rig other than that.
All right, guys, we're back with Shaun here on the set.
Hello.
And those were some pretty cool rigs. Hey, Shaun?
They were, the Bob Earl, actually both of them, the Playseat and the Bob Earl, they were both kind of more your console gaming rigs. They didn't have the monitor holder, but the Bob Earl actually does have the monitor holder available. It's at the website. We didn't get one here, so we used it as a console rig. But yeah, they were nice options.
Well, next up, we have your wonderful segment of Tech Tips.
Tech Tips, and we've gone a whole different direction once again. This time, as you mentioned earlier in the show, field of view. It's not really like a tech or a setup type of thing, but it's amazing how much it'll affect your timing on the racetrack. So we thought it was pretty critical. We've gotten a lot of emails, and so here you have it. Tech Tips, Field of View by Shaun Cole. In sim racing, field of view is a setting that we use to affect our view. It is more than just a graphical setting in that the result of the changes will be as significant as changes to the car's setup. Having the right field of view is very important when it comes to fast lap times. Field of view can be thought of in two different ways when we talk about sim racing. The first part would be the monitor in relation to your view from where you are sitting. Since the screen is a fixed dimension, moving it closer or farther from your eyes will affect how much of your vision is filled by the screen. Put the monitor far away, and the entire world being displayed on the screen might only represent a small percentage of your view. We all want larger monitors, so putting it far away defeats that purpose. So bring that monitor close to you, and the screen will fill your entire view. I prefer the monitor very close to me, but still comfortable for my eyes. The other part of field of view is the in-game settings. The field of view can be adjusted to allow for more or less of the game view to be seen on the screen. This is usually done under graphics or display settings in the game. With a lower field of view setting, the image seen on your screen will be a very narrow angle. You'll be very zoomed in and have very little side-to-side view. This will change how much of your car is seen, how much of the cars on your side will be seen as they pull up beside you. When using low field of view, I find that I am often early to apex and have trouble seeing out of the corners. On the flip side, going to a very large field of view will cause the sim to display a very wide angle of the world. It will actually pull your peripheral vision and start to display it on your left and right sides of the screens. This will create massive distortion, making it hard to judge distances. I find that with excessive field of view, that it is actually hard to see into the corners and pick your lines as you drive. Actually, I find it almost impossible to drive with too much field of view. What we are trying to achieve is matching the distance of the monitor, and therefore the amount of vision that we have in front of us, with a percentage of view that would be natural to real life. People with wider monitors or even triple screens might find they are comfortable with a higher field of view because of the wider amount of screens and vision being used. There are other factors to take in as well, when changing from sim to sim or even mod to mod within a sim, but the field of view may affect not only how much of the world is being seen, but also your dash, your wheel, your gauges, even your mirrors. Certain sims allow you to counter the effects of field of view by also adding seat position. Being able to move your seat forward and backward or up and down is another way to get the view just how you like it. Being comfortable and having the views so that you can see well and that you can hit your marks on the track will be as useful as a good setup. Now, I'm not saying that these are the best settings, but these are the settings that I use for a few different sims. I use a 22-inch widescreen monitor approximately 22 inches from my eyes. I run in 1680 by 1050 resolution. In Live for Speed, I find myself most comfortable with about 90-degree field of view. In R Factor, I tend to run at about 59, but may adjust my seat as well to achieve the position in the car I like. And then for iRacing, I will run somewhere between 65 and 70 for most cars. I will change these settings slightly from car to car within sims to get things most comfortable. So think about field of view next time you are driving, and make sure that you are actually seeing what you want to see.
All right, well, based off your tech tips, I'm noticing that the field of view really does make a difference on your perspective and how you view the track.
It'll change the sim. It'll change your how you recognize the track, and yeah, it's an amazing little thing to affect your racing.
Well, that's pretty much gonna all wrap it up for today's show.
It is. I kind of feel like it's an end of the season here. You know, we mention it from time to time. You know, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to get in our forum right through the website. Go to our forum and make suggestions. Talk about the show. All of us are available via email at our names at InsideSimRacing.tv, and I don't know if it's an end of the season, but
yeah, post your comments. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say. We do read everything. If you have any suggestions on our new set, anything you'd like to see on the show, anything, you name it, go ahead and post it or just say hi.
Yeah. And, you know, we mentioned it. We got E3 coming up, so probably about the 10th of June. Lots of coverage, all sorts of cool
Very
stuff to see.
excited for that.
Yeah, that should be a good time.
And I guess that's the next time we'll be seeing you.
Should we take some of this home with us or what?
No! I'm gonna miss the set. Thank you guys for joining us. Checkered flag is out, and so are we.